Congress returns to Washington on Tuesday with critical work to complete by the end of the month if they hope to avert a government shutdown and global financial crisis. Lawmakers have until September 30th to fund the government beyond this month and raise the legal limit on how much debt the federal government can hold. Both deadlines have risky political implications, and GOP leaders have been publicly divided about the path forward. President Trump over the August recess promised to veto must-pass government funding legislation if it didn't include funding for his proposed wall along the Mexico border, threatening a shutdown. House Speaker Paul Ryan this week Harvey at top of long to-do list as Congress returns the memo. Trump faces critical fall week ahead in finance. Lawmakers brace for high-stakes September. More RWIs, and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell this week Harvey at top of long to-do list as Congress returns the memo. Trump faces critical fall week ahead in finance. Lawmakers brace for high-stakes September. More RKY, both pushed back on the president, insisting a shutdown isn't necessary and that lawmakers could find border wall funding through the regular appropriations process. Senate Minority Leader Charles Chuck Ellis Schumer RSC Chairman Harvey aid could be jeopardized if linked with debt ceiling. Dems prep for major fight over Trump. USDA Science Pick Medicare chief promotes Obamacare enrollment on Twitter after Trump cuts outreach funding. More DNY already said his caucus wouldn't support a bill that funds the border wall. And even House Freedom Caucus Chairman Mark Meadows RNC said his group of more than 40 conservative lawmakers wouldn't sink a short-term spending bill that doesn't fund the wall. There were hints Friday that the White House might be willing to punt on the border funding issue until after September. Congress will also have to decide how to raise the debt ceiling before the federal government defaults on part of its debt. The Treasury Department can put off making critical payments until roughly the end of September, though that deadline could come earlier because of Hurricane Harvey. Congressional leaders reportedly are mulling attaching a debt ceiling increase to one of several upcoming bills to fund Harvey relief efforts. That could make it harder for some Republicans to vote against a debt limit hike. But Meadows has already said the two shouldn't be combined. The Harvey relief would pass on its own, and to use that as a vehicle to get people to vote for a debt ceiling is not appropriate, he said in an interview with The Washington Post. GOP leaders will likely need Democratic votes to raise the debt ceiling. And Democrats are already warning they won't sign on to a package that includes spending cuts. Harvey's impact could further complicate raising the debt ceiling if Congress needs to raise the National Flood Insurance Program's $30 billion borrowing limit. The NFIP is already facing nearly $25 billion in debt from Hurricanes Katrina and Rita, and Superstorm Sandy. Experts say the total cost of Harvey could exceed $15 billion, and flood insurance policy claims could be a significant portion of that cost. Congress has until September 30th to reauthorize NFIP, and lawmakers are attempting to agree on a package that keeps the program funded while making major changes meant to reduce cost and modernize flood mapping procedures. Tax reform will also be in the spotlight in the coming week. Trump is delivering a speech in North Dakota on Wednesday, his latest public pitch for a massive overhaul of the U.S. tax code. Trump has said lawmakers and the White House have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to deliver real tax reform. GOP leaders are under pressure to deliver as they look for a legislative victory after falling short on Obamacare repeal. Trump warned lawmakers in a recent speech not to disappoint him on tax reform. Your week ahead. Monday, Tuesday House and Senate return to D.C. Wednesday House Education and the Workforce Committee hearing entitled The Sharing Economy Creating Opportunities for Innovation and Flexibility, 10 a.m. http://bit.ly/2gpgyms. House Small Business Committee hearing entitled Expediting Economic Growth, How Streamlining Federal Permitting Can Cut Red Tape for Small Businesses, 11 a.m. http://bit.ly/2gpizzle. House Financial Services Subcommittee on Terrorism and Illicit Finance hearing entitled Low Cost, High Impact Combating the Financing of Lone Wolf and Small-Scale Terrorist Attacks, 2 p.m. http bit.ly2gpjo. President Trump delivers a speech on tax reform efforts in North Dakota. Thursday Senate Banking Committee hearing entitled Evaluating Sanctions Enforcement and Policy Options on North Korea, 9:30 a.m. http bit.ly2fm. House Financial Services Subcommittee on Financial Institutions and Consumer Credit hearing entitled Legislative Proposals for a More Efficient Federal Financial Regulatory Regime, 10 a.m. http bit.ly2po5. House Financial Services Subcommittee on Capital Markets, Securities, and Investment hearing entitled Oversight of the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, http bit.ly2fkesjr. U.S. Chamber of Commerce interactive discussion entitled Fiduciary Duty Assessing the Real-World Impact, 12 p.m. http://pushim.com 2fod2. Recent stories Trump to give tax speech in North Dakota next week, by Naomi Jagaday. Economy adds 156K jobs in August, by Sylvan Lana. Texas judge strikes down Obama overtime rule, by John Bowden. Mnuchin. More tax details coming shortly, by Naomi Jagaday. Mnuchin. Treasury could scrap plans to replace Jackson on $20 bill, by Sylvan Lana. Wells Fargo. Nearly twice as many potentially fake accounts than originally thought, by Sylvan Lana. Mexico plans to leave negotiations if Trump cancels NAFTA report. Rafael Bernal. Trump touts 3% economic growth, takes shot at Obama, by Nivel Socio. Chief Trump torn between racists and Wall Streeters, by Megan R. Wilson. Write us with tips, suggestions and news. Slane at thehill.com, Fanitum at thehill.com, Najagoda at thehill.com and Nellis at thehill.com. Follow us on Twitter at Sylvan Lane, at Vic of the Hill, at Najagoda and at Nivelis.